better things to do, which is Netflix. Okay, so but thank you so much. And I don't think so. Delhi has a culture of public lectures as such, especially on technical topics. But we thought we'll try something different. We'll try something new, and we are really encouraged by this turnout today. I hope more people join in as my remarks wrap up, so they don't have to suffer this, but have much more informative and insightful comments from Manoj, who's come all the way down from Bombay. Before I actually introduce Manoj and also call on Udbhav, who on part of Mozilla has supported this event, I would just like to tell you what, in terms of events, we are doing and what is our focus, and also a little about IFF. So, how many of you have had a chance to actually read or purchase Snowden's book recently? No, none of you? Okay, I can see some hands. It's a really fantastic book, and I'll recommend it to all of you. And it draws away from the very first few pages where he describes how the internet has developed over the course of time. Snowden was born in 1983, when he's seen waves of technology develop as he has grown up as well. And he describes it in a way which is filled with emotion and passion. And it was like that for a lot of people who were growing up at the same point of time. This is not to say that technology does not have that same emotional connection with a lot of you and how you're seeing it progress. But technology, as it was developing, when we were hitting our adolescence, and I'm born a year later, I'm born in 1984, it was a place of curiosity, wonder. It was not as aggregated, as centralized as we see it today. It was clunky. It was very confusing, and there used to be things which just didn't work the way you expected them to do. And quite often, your internet connection used to be broken by a person who would just pick up the phone in the same house to shut you down. Okay, that would be our parents. And Snowden's written about that itself. But what makes technology really, really fascinating, and what has actually inspired a lot of people to devote their time and come forward and formulate advocacy organization in India, that's the Internet Freedom Foundation, is this quote just on page 4 of Snowden's book. He says that what makes a life more than what we say, more than what we do. A life is also what we love and what we believe in. For me, what I love and believe in most is connection, human connection, and technologies by which it is achieved. These technology includes books, of course, but for my generation, connection has largely meant the internet or communication technologies. And encryption does play a major part in that. And today we are reaching a point where technology having a very clear impact in terms of how society is structured, in terms of not only what we see on a computer screen, but it's basically as stark as permitting access control to certain buildings or whether people get their rations. And this is bringing people together, which includes the trustees and the staff at IFF, and the trustees happen to be from the technology sector as well. It includes Aravind Ravi Sulekha, who built Scrollback, which is an open source tool, which was acquired by Mozilla, or it was utilized by Mozilla. And he's a technologist based out of Singapore. It includes Karthik Balakrishna, who does product design for Insider. It also includes activists such as Rachita Taneja, who makes the very popular comic Sanitary Panels. It includes Ramanjit Singh Chima, a fair bit of you know him from the policy circuit, who serves as Asia Policy Director at Axis now. And it also includes a growing number of staff at IFF. That's Devdatta, that's Joanne, and that's Shruti and Shivani, people you have just met at the registration desk. All of us are looking at our initiative and doing these kind of events in terms of our larger organizational vision, in which we see people as a core part of these conversations, which is why this public lecture is also being organized. And the effort quite clearly here is towards greater public engagement, greater public understanding by facilitating experts such as Manoj to have these with people, not only in Delhi, but in other Indian cities. We'll keep doing that. And just before I hand it over to Udbhav, who represents Mozilla and has supported this event, I would also like to compliment how this support has been facilitated in the past. specifically through Ambakar, who supported the Privacy Supreme event, which was to mark the anniversary of the Supreme Court's right to privacy event, where Snowden himself tweeted with the hashtag of the event. And he wrote that we can possess nothing, neither thing nor thought, absent a border between self and state. Each individual right is derived from this line, which we call privacy. 2 years ago, India's Supreme Court affirmed the right to privacy, and with the hashtag Privacy Supreme. So, as I call on Udbhav, I hope this partnership continues, this support continues, and we look forward to doing much more of these events next year. Please do give us feedback. Please do consider to donate to us to become our members. We are Indian. We represent Indian interests. We are doing our best in terms of advancing them in our conception of fundamental rights under the Constitution of India. And we derive our legitimacy on the basis of our funding model, which comes from people like you. So, Udbhav, please.
Thank you so much, Upal. Hi everyone, I'm Udbhav and I work as a policy advisor for Mozilla in India. I'm just going to take a couple of minutes to firstly talk a little bit about Mozilla, what Mozilla does as a company and some of the products that Mozilla has, but specifically also what Mozilla has done in the policy space in India over the last couple of years, and then finally end with a couple of thoughts on encryption and how glad we are to support the conversation around encryption in the form of this public lecture. So with regard to Mozilla, I'm sure it's familiar to many of you, but we're essentially a corporation that's owned by a non-profit, not a very common model, but what that means is that we don't have any shareholders, we don't really have to subscribe to the traditional corporate interest as that you would associate with a corporation, and are primarily known for like Firefox, our browser. But apart from that, we also have other products. We have Pocket, which is the newsreader that lets you save articles offline for reading. We have Firefox Monitor that monitors your email accounts for password breaches and notifies you if your password's found in a breach. We also operate Firefox Send, a service that lets you send across end-to-end encrypted files over the internet in a manner that is anonymous and secure. But generally speaking, Mozilla is driven by the Mozilla Manifesto, which essentially came about like way back when Mozilla was set up in 1999, that contains a set of principles that have largely remained unchanged for how the company and the foundation go about doing their work and what they believe is fundamental to the internet. And a key aspect of Mozilla is also the community that we have in the country. So Mozilla has over 10,000 members spread out over various communities all over the country that work on open source software, that work on virtual reality, that work on voice-assisted technologies, that work on web literacy, and many other projects. And this community has almost been around for as long as Mozilla has been around when it comes to India as well. So it's a very integral part of how Mozilla thinks about India, as well as like the internal thinking on the issues that are affecting the country. In specific, 2014 was the first time that Mozilla got involved in India in a policy debate where Mitchell Baker, our CEO and executive chair, actually wrote to Prime Minister Modi on the net neutrality debate, and he spoke to members of TRI, participated in the public consultations, and very similar to sort of some of the beginnings of IFF as an organization. Mozilla was also one of like the entities that definitely engaged in the conversations around net neutrality as well. Since then, we've worked on data protection and privacy. As Apar mentioned, we've worked on content regulation and intermediary liability, where some of you may have read a letter that we wrote with GitHub and Wikimedia on the intermediary liability rules. We've worked on telecom and connectivity, where we have supported the Groundmark project as a part of the Equal Rating Innovation Challenge that is attempting to connect me and connected using some fairly interesting technologies, and you can find out more about that online. And in general, we also work on cybersecurity as an issue as well. And for us, encryption is a very sort of integral aspect of that. So now zeroing down on encryption, one of the principles in the Mozilla Manifesto is the fact that individual security and privacy are fundamental to the internet and cannot be treated as optional, right? And that's been a part of the Mozilla Manifesto since 2000. And as a part of a lot of the work that has happened around the manifesto, we really do believe that encryption is an integral part of making sure that individuals can retain their autonomy and their security on the online space. We've engaged on this issue globally. We've engaged on the encryption bill that Australia came out with last year. We've engaged in the United States in the Apple versus FBI case. Encryption was a key aspect of the letter with GitHub and Wikimedia that we wrote earlier this year as well, and is very clearly an issue that we believe will play a pivotal role in how Indians access the internet and how well they have the autonomy to protect their rights online, specifically from surveillance. So that's broadly about Mozilla and our thinking. I'd really like to thank Manoj for coming down and agreeing to do this public lecture. It's very, very rare and should happen a lot more often that we hear from technical experts such as him on issues and how they interface with policy. And I definitely like to thank the Internet Freedom Foundation, APAR, and the entire team for being really, really excellent partners with us, both with this event and in the past as well. And we really look forward to sort of working with them in the future. Thank you so much for coming down, and we hope you have a great lecture. Thank you.
So we got some comments in terms of asking what is a public lecture, how challenging will it be, and will we actually be able to take away anything from it if you're not a graduate student in computer science. So I leave these challenges to Manoj, who's broken his lecture into 3 parts. He'll speak on it by himself. And I'd just like you to know that towards the end, we will have a public interaction in which you can send questions through messages to the IFF phone, and it'll be a structured interaction. Also, this is supposed to be academic dialogue. Even though Manoj has filed affidavit in the Supreme Court in the traceability case, at the same point of time, I would request, let's keep this conversation a bit broader. Let's not be boxed in by the immediate concerns of the day and look towards the future of not only encryption, but cryptography much more generally. And this is because Manoj comes with a wealth of experience and a wealth of research. Dr. Manoj Prabhakaran is the Vijay and Sita Vashi Chair Professor of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Bombay. Prior to joining IIT Bombay, Professor Prabhakaran was a faculty member in the Department of Computer Science at the University of Illinois for 11 years, where he served as an assistant professor from 2005 to 2011 and associate professor from 2011 to 2016. He received his PhD in computer science from Princeton University in 2005. Professor Manoj graduated from IIT Bombay in 2000 with a BTech in computer science and engineering and had the distinction of receiving his Bachelor's Institute Gold Medal. He has also received the IBM PhD Fellowship, was awarded the NSF Career and Beckman Faculty Fellowship. He has been an associate editor for the Journal of Cryptography. His research interests includes theoretical cryptography, widening towards the field of information security and various topics in theoretical computer science. He, along with colleagues from IIT Bombay, have also formulated a set of technical design and policy guidelines for a national identity scheme and identified how Aadhaar's design and implementation deviates from these best practices. All of this is available on his faculty page. This is a mere excerpt from the work he's done. I invite you to go there and explore much more, given the limitations of how much we can actually assimilate. So let's look forward to this challenging lecture. And I would like to invite Manoj onto stage, also to dim the lights a bit so we can see the presentation a bit more clearly.
Thanks, Apar, and thanks to IFF and Mozilla and all the people at IFF for hosting this lecture, and thanks to all of you guys for coming over. Yeah, it is a challenging lecture. I've given a public lecture. I've given a lot of lectures. So this will be a little bit of like a lecture more than a public lecture in the sense that I have slides. Okay, so I've told the name of the session is Encryption to Charcha. The first thing I'd like to start with is it's not really about encryption alone. There's more to this cryptography than encryption, and that's at least one message you can hear what I mean. So first I'll start with a very technical background. I'm a little likely not too bad. But stop me if it's getting too incomprehensible. Okay, so I'll start with this point is just trying to make that cryptography is not just about encryption. There are at least 2 concepts central to getting a secure communication network. So these are our standard characters, Alice and Bob, and they are not the two separate concepts of secure communication. The two similar concepts are encryption and authentication. So encryption is not by itself enough. So encryption is something that can let, say, Alice wants to send some private message to Bob. It's none of the great scenario, so he's dropped his job to find out what she's sending. So you want to encrypt that message so that they snoop on their conversation. Authentication is something somewhat different. Bob gets this message, and it shouldn't look to him that it came from Alice, whereas it came from someone else. Okay? So authentication is to protect against spoofing. And you might think, okay, we are interested in privacy. Why do you care about authentication? Authentication seems a little contradictory to privacy. You are signing off on something that's coming from you, and that kind of binds you to a message. But actually, for secure communication, you need both. Because otherwise, if you could spoof, it is what an industry will. Suppose it tells Alice, gives me new address, I'm Bob, gives me new address, please send my access to this address. And for Alice, and her message for this adversary, right? So no encryption was broken. This message was sent over a secure channel, but it is sent around endpoint. That would be a problem. So you need both encryption and authentication for privacy. And you do see a lot of use cases of encryption and authentication, not just in secure communication. But secure communication itself, you would see in different ways in your daily life. So when you connect to a website which is HTTPS, it is using secure communication, or if you're connecting to your the corporate network through VPN, that's also a secure communication channel. Or if you're using WhatsApp or like Signal, it's end-to-end encrypted and authenticated communication. That's also using secure communication. But you may also use it outside of secure communication. You just want to keep your laptop secure against somebody will steal it, they shouldn't see what's in your laptop. So you can use disk encryption. Their authentication is not that critical. So that that's another use of encryption. It's not for communication. IDs in the blockchain, so known as the possible blockchains. The blockchain in your identity is essentially a key that you can use to authenticate yourself. I'll just say a little bit more about what kind of keys they are. So that's like an authentication mechanism, but it's for a slightly different purpose than for a communication channel. Or for downloading an Android app update, right? or even an Android app. Or your laptop and the Windows software, let's say, wants to update itself. But how do you know you're downloading the right software? Are you downloading software from some malicious site and then you don't want it to be installed on your laptop? So then again, you use authentication. Make sure that you're downloading the right software. And so these are things that you may not realize every time these things are happening, but throughout your computer user experience, encryption and authentication is going on. Okay, so I said I'll tell you a little bit about these keys. So still, this has to be a somewhat rigorous introduction to cryptography. So it's not a rigorous introduction to cryptography, but if you want to say anything about that you learn about cryptography, this is the very first couple of concepts in this one slide. So in cryptography, your security is derived from the secrecy of the key. You're not relying on the secrecy of how you do the encryption, what is the algorithm you are using for encryption or authentication. That's all public. That's typically even standardized, published material. Your secrecy derives from the fact that you picked up a bunch of completely random bits. And nobody in the world has any chance of figuring out exactly the same bits, right? And now you're going to use this bit for something, and the security of the scheme will make sure that you can use these bits and still essentially not be able to. Okay, so that's a key to security, is a key that is generated randomly. Now, I said encryption and authentication, digging down a little bit more, you could break it down to actually 4 fields. So each of these encryption and authentication comes in 2 flavors. There's a symmetric key cryptography, there's symmetric key cryptography, and there's public key cryptography. What's the difference? Symmetric key cryptography is a simpler concept. So there is a key that the sender and the receiver have agreed on, and they both hold that key. When I want to encrypt something or when I want to authenticate a message that's coming from me, I use the same key that you will use to decrypt the message or verify the key from it, right? So that's symmetrically both parties are same key. Public key cryptography is a much fancier idea, and humanity didn't know such a thing was possible until a few decades back. So this is a kind of evolution. So theoretically, cryptography in some form has been there forever, from millennia old concept. The public key cryptography is just a few decades old. What's the idea? It's a goal. So one party creates a key, but then instead of keeping the whole key secret, you publish something. Okay, so there is a public component of the key and there's a secret component. Only the key creator knows the secret component, everybody is allowed to see the public component. And now anybody who knows this public component can send encrypted messages to the key creator. And only the key creator can receive the messages, in the sense that the key creator can decrypt the messages. On the other hand, for authentication, the key creator is the one who can send the messages. Anybody can use the public part of the key to verify that the message came from the key creator, the creator of this public part of the key. So that's why the public part of the key, the public key, becomes your identity in an online setting, right? You may not know me, you may not associate a name or face with me, but you can see that there is some public key here, and whoever created this public key is sending various messages. All these messages come from the same person. So you can think of that as the identity. The public key becomes the identity of the individual or entity behind all the messages. So that's why we say blockchain setting. And people only use pseudonyms. The pseudonyms are essentially these public keys. Something called hash for the public keys. Essentially, these public keys. Maybe one more, detail which we may or may not care about. Public key cryptography just as very new and magic. The use is based on very interesting mathematical problems. You might have heard things like factorization is hard, factorizing numbers to find factors. And those are the kind of problems that we rely on for public key. So these problems have been well studied by mathematicians for centuries, and they're still hard. So you're basing the security of the system on hardness of these mathematical problems. Symmetric cryptography, on the other hand, is much simpler, but then what we could hope to do is do it much more efficiently than that. So it could be a symmetric cryptography also on these kind of hard mathematical problems. But what you typically do is based on more agile problems. They're complex problems. I would say they're engineered problems. They're not natural problems like factorization, like a huge problem we create, like a huge puzzle we create. And since so their security is based on that comes to what you say called cryptanalyze these functions. And the complex function survives all the cryptanalytic attacks on it, then you will have some confidence that this is a scheme, right? So this is based on more identical instructions, but they are much faster. And this is what you'd like to use to encrypt all. So you're streaming video from Netflix, like a suggesting. It's video is not video, right? Coming at a high rate. You don't have the time to encrypt everything using public key cryptography because it takes some effort. Symmetric key cryptography is what we use. Okay, but to do encryption, so you and Netflix need to set up this key for encryption and authentication. You and Netflix need to create a key that you share. How do you do that? Netflix never knew about you until you went and signed up on their website, right? So you don't think you actually create the key and now it's shared with Netflix. But it can happen behind the scenes. So let me do one last technical slide on encryption. So the cryptography is nice and truly, right? There's hard problems here, public encryption, authentication, and so forth. But you cannot use them directly. You have to put them together all in a very careful way to use them in higher level applications. And that's what the secure protocol let you do. So here's a caricature of a secure protocol. So you have access trying to withdraw or do some transaction on your bank account. So first thing they have to establish a secure channel for communication. And here's how that goes. So the bank is some entity which has public keys. Their public keys have been published and everybody can look at those keys. So there is a question of what you do is actually the bank's key. So I'm saying, show you guys it's a certified. There's a whole bunch of details here. Who certifies how to verify the certificate, and those are important details, but we will just skip over that. So there is some way for Alice to check that this key is indeed the bank's key. And things like Mozilla browser will help you with that. We'll have Alice. Once she has this encryption, so this is both an encryption and or here what I'm showing you is so both for encryption and for authentication. But what is being used here is actually the encryption. What Alice will do is she would pick her own encryption and authentication keys, but for symmetric key cryptography, and send them to the bank. But she cannot send them to the bank in clear because then the explorer will find it. But she can use this channel with an encrypted channel using this key. Okay. So this channel itself didn't use any encryption, any authentication from the bank, but that was used in the verifying certificate. That's where the bank's signature authentication is. And okay, so now we can access a set of keys both that Alice and the bank know, and nobody else knows. And they can use that to communicate in an encrypted and authenticated fashion. One thing, if you have been careful, you will notice is that the bank really doesn't know this Alice yet. In some artificial systems, there are a pair of keys for encryption and authentication, and the bank would be talking to anyone else. But then, once they understand all that, Alice could say, here's my user ID and password. So this is happening at a higher level of the protocol, and the bank will look up its database, so you give your ID and password, and go to two-factor authentication, and then say it's not authenticated. So that's all you essentially need to know about how HTTPS connection works or how VPN works. But of course, there are many more details. For instance, what if the bank has this key, right? Public key and private key, the secret key. What if that secret key got leaked? Happens all the time that people's data gets leaked. So the bank's key got leaked. Well, as soon as the bank finds out, they would like to replace their keys. They would like to go library and forget their old keys. These are my new keys. And how do you do that? So there is a bunch of details about how to revoke your own certificates and the new certificate. But there are also the details about what about all the old communication that happened, which are using this old key that got stolen. Somebody that has been storing all this communication could then now go back, use the stolen key, the secret key here, and use it to figure out what happened here, right? It turns out you can do something so that cannot happen. That's for forward secrecy. And your apps like WhatsApp and Signal, they also worry about this. They want to make sure that your phone is compromised today, their own messages, which have been collected by some surveillance agency, would still remain undecrypted. Today's key won't be used for a decrypted SMS message. So that's something. Okay, so there are a lot of details, and that means there are a lot of rooms. There's a lot of room for words. So this is like a timeline of this protocol called SSL TLS. This is a bread and butter protocol for internet secure communication. So you would think not to people are building it, you're very careful with the protocol. Unfortunately, this timeline all red things you see are attacks or bugs or breaks of this secure protocol, supposedly secure protocol. Break, so they get broken, they get fixed, and that is the fact of that. Hopefully things will change. So TLS 1.3 is the most recent version of this whole protocol, and the hope is that that will fare better than the previous one. All right, so that brings me to so that is all I wanted to tell you about how encryption authentication gets used for secure communication. But as I was saying, things are not all that secure despite having encryption authentication. And to see, this is again my caricature of how to understand these security vulnerabilities happens at different levels. So there is cryptography that I talked about, hard mathematical problems or engineering problems used to build encryption authentication. Then there are protocols that put them together, and then at the top there is this whole zoo of applications and hardware devices and humans like we sitting and using these protocols. And we do a very bad job of using these protocols. Our browsers do a bad job of using these protocols. Our operating systems do a very bad job of using these protocols. And our hardware devices do a very bad job. Or even some of them do a good job. Others, maybe Mozilla, the browser is doing very well, but it's running on an Android operating system which has been problematic. Then there's nothing that the Mozilla application can do if the operating system service components. So there's a very slew of entities. They don't nicely play with each other. They don't necessarily play well with the protocols. Now, in terms of security, so cryptography, I would say, is the safest among these things. There have been attacks on mainstream programs. It has happened, but somewhat by some flaw in the process of what gets standardized. So there are instances of the governments installing backdoors in these cameras. So mainstream doesn't get broken all that often, but it can get broken. Protocols, as I was showing, do get broken more often, but actually it's not. If you look at the actual protocol, the intention of the protocol, the design of the protocol, they are often sound. What is problematic is the implementation. So underlying the design, somebody writes down this mathematics I want to go and write paper, say this is secure. Then somebody takes that and writes the code, software that implements that. And the last gap between the design and the implementation. Okay? And same with protocols. Protocols are more complicated things. So you can use these RFCs, which are the design documents for the protocols, and then they get implemented, and all these bugs we are talking about essentially come from the implementation, mostly from the but on that is nothing compared to the vulnerabilities lurking in the application space. So, sorry, please. And when you have a compromise, so the application, is compromised means the user is compromised, right? So it doesn't matter if all these things are secure, but somebody has made a copy of all your keys, then they can become you and use like you, right? Or somebody has managed to log in with credentials of it's an authority. So in particular, there are issues like certifying a product that I talked about. To certify somebody's bank's key as actually bank's key, they get compromised because their applications are really bad, or they're running some one bad application. They got compromised. Somebody could access their keys and use it to certify Google's key as being valid keys, and then everything breaks up. And you will log into some, or you will be thinking of somebody else as your back. You won't be your back. So the endpoint vulnerabilities are the biggest problem. So if you look at Snowden, which the breaks are not really hard to cryptography level. There are various things of information that have happened, but mainly the vulnerabilities are at the level of active application, high active application. Just in case you're not doing something despairing enough. The CD is a repository of common vulnerabilities and exposures. And it's a list of some CD 2019, blah, blah, blah. Some vulnerabilities, open list or similar the protocol. And this from today back, I was doing a page and started scrolling. And it's a long list. You keep scrolling and keep scrolling. And those aren't gone. And you're still in 2019. Okay? So this is all the vulnerabilities that have been reported kind of very recently, in the last 1 year for sure. And they're all over the place. They're on Linux, they're in Android, they're in iOS, they're in many applications, Cisco routers, and various things maybe you want to don't use or care about. But there are tons of them. Okay, so that's kind of rather gloomy conclusion of that part of my lecture. Any questions, anything
We'll take
we'll take questions of that. I am used to the classroom lecture style that I ask. As soon as something is not clear, please stop and ask me. But I just
Signal.
what's the name?
We are using Signal.
Yeah, okay, so we wait for the question to end. Okay, so I'm not a photographer. I don't have a lot of expertise in talking about sociological issues. But here's my take on it nevertheless. So there are two different communities, there are two different disciplines, or two sets of disciplines. One looking at things like we want to create a just and happy society, there are all humanities kind of question. And then there are this engineering or science kind of question. We want to build the most efficient, reliable technology. And usually it's clear what falls where, right? Asking about a question like fairness or human rights, that's a question about the just society. You're asking about AI or artificial intelligence or information security, cryptography, for instance. That's the question that's fairly in the science or engineering side of things. But things are not that simple. There's growing realization that this has been there, it's growing in more now, that there are a lot of lessons that happen in the community. Yeah, so for instance, there's a field that's very new, maybe about a year old or a couple of years old, algorithm fairness. And that comes about because people have started using AI algorithms to decide on questions like who gets what, or who gets put in prison for how long, which are questions about are you being fair to this person. And so the data shows that this class of people are they tend to get back to jail more often, so we shouldn't let them jail soon. But that's because biases that already exist, and these biases are being reinforced by data. Biases on their data shows that people are being, and they get reinforced by the algorithms. And it's a vicious cycle. Right? So, how do you deal with it? Another way to think about it is fairness. You kind of thought of it as a philosophical issue. To see something is unfair, you know, that kind of intuitively you know something. And then Ireland, that doesn't work. Ireland, you can intuitively know what's right. You can define what privacy is. But then you do this thing, if you hire more people from this class and that class where that input is the other way around. Well, should I define that as unfairness, or should I say that's how the qualifications are probably it's not unfair? So it's a very difficult question to define, to formally say what is fair and what's not fair. But it's not an absolute thing, right? It comes from our sense of what is right and just. So it's not. It's a difficult question. But people have started now asking this question because they need to. Otherwise, we use algorithms to make decisions that affect people. Privacy is a little bit like that. Like, it's not clear what should be private or what would be considered. I'm standing around immediately that violates my privacy. But maybe I'm okay with that for now. But maybe in another setting it may not be okay, right? So what is private is very hard. What is privacy is a very hard question. There are some scenarios in which we have had very good success in mathematically defining privacy. So census data, you want to calculate statistics from the census data. What kind of statistics can I reveal without compromising anybody's privacy? That kind of questions have some very nice mathematical definitions, but there are also some other privacy questions that are ambiguous. So that's an open question to define what privacy is so that we can use the technology to get the right level of privacy. So that brings me to privacy, and people in the audience are much more qualified. Some people in the audience are much more qualified to talk about it than I am. But without knowing, irrespective of what privacy's actual definition is, it seems like we probably agree that it is a fundamental right. So we both have that it's a fundamental right. And the reason is without adequate privacy guarantees, what that means, there are a lot of things that sociologically bad things that happen, right? So we need privacy, but we don't quite know what privacy is. What we can tell is that if you need privacy, you need security. If you're at some level, right? If you're whatever you write to, whatever email you send is going to be hacked into or something. You probably can read it, then you probably have lost a lot on the privacy. If you don't know what exactly privacy is, we can say as much that if you don't have security, then you're going to lose some privacy. But there are privacy more than security, privacy needs more than security. A lot of privacy breaches that don't need any security breach. Okay, so Google company never does. Right? There is no security that is broken. It's all with informed consent, but people ask, is that what we want, or should there be a better control over your privacy? So I'm not going to really go into that. It's a bigger question. Right? What is the right level of privacy? What is the right level of coercion you can use to get information from people and so forth? I'm going to stick to this question. Right? You do need some security to get some privacy. So security is an enabler for enhancing privacy. So that's one aspect of security. It gives you privacy. It's a good thing. But there's a flip side, which is that security or cryptography also enables a lot of things that you would think of as bad things. So ransomware is something that it's malware that can affect your laptop, then puts on it to your desk and says, pay me so many, send so much bitcoins to this address, otherwise you'll never get your data back. You send so much bitcoins, magically, they will send you back some key to read your contents, right? So that's a business model. So that's ransomware. uses encryption. It uses something like redefine, which has a lot of cryptography techniques, right? Cryptography. Ransomware is a special case of extortionware, or similar, or you could say it's a similar thing. It's also asking you to pay for errors, but it may not be about finding an encrypting a disk. They'll just say, we have been filming you through your laptop or camera. Pay up or else we will release it, right? And then people do get worried without necessarily knowing whether, checking or being able to check the statement is true or not. People might just pick. Sometimes it could actually be true too. Nothing preventing video cameras being hacked into. Happens, but this could also be just an easy way for a hacker to make money. Right? They don't have to do anything. They don't have to be breaking anything. They simply do a spam mail and sit back and get some money. This on malware is another side and the kind of crime. So there's the notion of a dark net, which is not internet that's readily accessible unless you know how to look for it, what to look for. You won't get there, so it's not something you would stumble upon. And not everything in the dark net is illegal, but there are illegal activities in the dark net. So dark net is a place where things stay anonymous, right? Those websites are not publicly visible. You don't know which servers are hosting them. So they host some illegal content. They don't look around, just go take down the servers or the people running the servers because you don't know where it is. So there is room for illegal activities, and there are illegal activities. There have been big cases like the Silk Road, which is a big company that was flying in the dark net until it was shut down actually physically catching the real people who are running it. So that's one kind of issue. Another is what we thought was a good thing. People can securely communicate with each other. Well, for many people, and for some people, other people are not people who should be communicating with each other. So if you are law enforcement and you see criminals are communicating with each other to plan some crime, you get worried, right? Maybe if I could just see what they're talking to each other, maybe I could catch them. So unfortunately, all this is using same kind of good cryptography we would be using, and it can be very effective. It can be frustratingly effective if you are a law enforcement or a creditor. Okay? So that's the flip side. So governments are very have a large, mostly hate relationship with cryptography, unless it's cryptography they are using within their networks, right, for their own purposes. So a lot of this has to do with historically cryptography is something with a military background, right? It came from world wars or German army or maybe it's communicating with their submarine and using encrypted messages, and the British are trying to decrypt it. So there's a whole history of cryptography being used in war, right, by governments against each other. So that's kind of the background from which governments are coming. But since the internet has come about, cryptography is used by everyone. A lot of things in cryptography happened starting in the military world. So in the 70s, public key encryption that I've been talking about as this magical scientific revolution that happened, mathematical revolution, was invented at GCHQ, the Government Communications Headquarters in the UK, which is like their, so in the US there is the National Security Agency, and GCHQ is the UK version of it, and the name doesn't make it up as they do. It's basically this. So mathematicians at GCHQ invented public key cryptography. Of course, they didn't publish it. Right? Only they knew about it. I don't think they used it for much, but they just went on to it until it was rediscovered in open literature in the US a few years back, later, 6 years. In 75, in the symmetric key cryptography of the world, everyone knew about it, and they said, okay, time to standardize this thing. The nation, US needs this standard so that you can incorporate and so forth. So they're trying to get this digital encryption standard. The standardization bodies are working with IBM as one of the people who are actually providing the design. And NSA decided it shouldn't be too strong. It shouldn't be so strong that NSA cannot break into it, because then, before I had the previous slide, right? NSA is coming to a point with law enforcement. What they see is good crypto is bad for the world for that. Right? So they decided to intervene and try and restrict the key size of the digital test. And it did happen. It was restricted and it was considered weak from the time it was born. Now it's completely global. It's Oxford standard, but it was there for a long time. Okay, let's put some tentacles on NSA. So for cryptographers, if you go to some of the conferences, we have different pictures for the adversary. One of the pictures you see used for adversary is the NSA logo. For cryptographers, NSA is perhaps the most powerful adversary, better than any of the, stronger than any of the hackers and even other nation states. So NSA is a good example of an adversary to keep in mind, a model of adversary to keep in mind if you're trying to build a secure system. However, to be fair, NSA also helped with making DES strong. They knew about certain attacks that would actually break the original design idea came up with, and they fixed the DES so that the DES design so that those possible attacks can work. Nobody knew about this possible attacks, so nobody knew why NSA changed things. So they wanted a strong system, it's just that they wanted the key size to be small so that they could brute force that necessary. But it was going to be a national standard or global standard. They didn't want it to be fully breakable. So the way the governments work was cloud-based relationship is they'd like to have good crypto for certainly for themselves, talk to their military or within their military or the government itself. They'd also be happy to have security for their citizens, maybe not so much that you cannot break them, but they certainly don't want the other militaries and other governments to have good crypto. So when all these things were new in the 70s, there were export regulations saying if you build a software that does encryption, don't make it too strong, and then you shouldn't be able to export it to a foreign country. Until, of course, somewhere in, forget maybe Norway or Finland, very strong encryption software was created, PGP, and then everybody could use that, and you have to rely on US export laws for getting good security. In the 90s, there was another famous incident of the government fighting the crypto community, and there was this thing called the Clipper chip. So the government proposed that, or NSA proposed that, here's a chip which has circuitry in there to encrypt voice and data messages from mobile phones. So mobile phones were just coming out, and the catch is that you can do strong encryption, but the keys used for encryption will be kept with the government, be escrowed with the government. So the government is not saying we'll just use it, but if there is a need, we can go and pull it out and figure out, decrypt all the communication and then double its form. For various reasons, it didn't take off. The government pushed for it, the community pushed against it, and the industry didn't really push for it. So it didn't really work out for NSA. Okay, and we kind of know all along that the government in the US and elsewhere, but my story is mostly based on where I see mostly what we talk about all the things happening in the US because, for one, that's where a lot of the initial things came about, and that's also one of what's happening in places where this kind of crypto wars. And in a few years back, so as part of selling of Snowden, Edward Snowden leaked a bunch of classified documents. So we call it the Snowden revelations now. And it showed, in particular, the presence of a couple of programs, many things actually, that I was mentioning to Gurram and Ledger. There's an American program, there's a British program, to basically attack cryptography. How? You cannot really attack the maths. You can, that's not big, but you can, you can discover and exploit vulnerabilities in the protocols, in the implementation, right? So they actually do it, which is good, right? If something is weak, you need to find out. So they do that, but then of course they want to use it without telling anyone. The whole point of finding vulnerability is to actually break, not fix. Right? So this is a very successful program. No wonder, given the amount of problems these implementations have. So NSA and GCHQ are setting probably on a treasure trove of vulnerabilities. But sometimes it kind of bites them back. So if you can find a vulnerability and it's not fixed, maybe somebody else can find it too. It could get even worse. Even if somebody else couldn't find it, they would actually steal it from you. Okay, so there was at least one instance where a vulnerability was leaked, and Monica, it was a ransomware which used some pretty solid vulnerability discovery that NSA had done. Another thing that these programs try to do is backdooring the standard, meaning weaken the standard, weaken the actual schemes that people are using out there, and so that they, hopefully, for them, only they know about the weakness. Okay? And they somehow convince everyone that there's a strong system, strong encryption scheme, let's use it. And usually when that happens, there's been one instance where we know that happened, or we think it happened. In that case, from the beginning, it's why this looks like a weak scheme. Why do you want to standardize this? But it was only later that the weakness was actually discovered. And then it turns out that it was actually something that NSA has been pushing for, even working with the companies like RSS Security. Another instance of where the government wants to break cryptography that was in the news was this case where the FBI, something you also mentioned, Mozilla has been working on it too apparently. Everything here, again, read this and more on the internet, on Wikipedia, and maybe Snowden's book. So this was another instance where FBI wanted Apple to break open some encryption in iOS. So you would, that Apple should build systems where there are always a way to break through. That's not true usually if you just build a system. You generally keep hardware on which you're running is not Apple. Company will be able to break it just because they are putting it up in an Apple phone. But FBI wanted Apple to actually build some backdoor in the iOS. So when you use encryption there, the standard iOS provided encryption, it should let FBI open it. Or should let Apple open it, FBI force it. Then they go forward at that time, but it's kind of a similar issue that law enforcement truly believes that there's a big problem. People have these phones which can be encrypted, so this can be encrypted, and it seems like the world is going dark for them. They're going to fight crime. So how do we think of this then? Like, what's the right thing to do here? Should we, go with what the government says for the safety of the larger public. We shouldn't worry too much about our privacy. This has been open. Or should we go with privacy is a fundamental right? Fighting crime is not what we should prioritize. So that might be a false binary. So let me try to get some sense of some way of thinking about it. Just my personal take on it. And I wanted to start with a disclaimer saying these are not the best things. So I thought of what I wanted to say here. Analogy is like a shadow. It's analogy is like a shadow. It gives you an outline from some perspective, from one point of view, but it hides a lot of details. I hope most of you already did that. I thought it's just to match what's happening and this other one. You can quote me on that. Analogy is like a shadow. It's good for dramatic effect, but may not be the best way to do this. So just like that shadow. Okay, so with that, I hope that's enough disclaimer. Here's what the government way of usually talking about cryptography is, or encryption specifically is. It's like a weapon, so you don't let people use weapons freely, you regulate it. Not everybody is allowed to use weapons. Even if you can own a gun, you cannot own an assault rifle. So some limit on the strength of the weapon, how many people should be used. Well, you could make a different analogy. It's more like an armor. You don't kill people, you don't directly kill people with your encryption or attack people with your encryption. With your encryption, you are protecting yourself. You're protecting your data. Of course, it should have a secondary effect of if you're well armored, you can go in and shoot people with more impunity or something. But the direct analogy should be that it's more like an armor. Well, the government would say it's still that should be legal, right? You can use this armor and go and shoot people with impunity. Why do you want to allow people to use this armor? So here's my contribution to since we are in Delhi, I thought, here's the right idea. Don't think of this weapon and armor or anything. It's like an anti-pollution mask. You're stepping out into this toxic air. If you don't wear this mask, you're toast. Right? You cannot survive there for much long. You're not realizing now, but it's going to have harmful effects down the line. Everyone should have the right to use an anti-pollution mask. Encryption is like that. Now, of course, that would mean your whole is snatching your bag and running, but also using an anti-pollution mask, and they can run further and faster if they have a mask. But are you going to say that nobody should use a mask, but somebody is saying good benefit? There's always benefit from good. That shouldn't be the only reason to deny common benefits of the technology. Okay. So that's kind of my analogy for the day. In analysis, though, I do want to make a couple of very more objective points about it. There's another very good reason why this is a bad analogy, beyond whether you like this or that. So, technology that you want to regulate is usually like nuclear weapons or assault rifles. But it's hard for somebody to just build it in their backyard. Right? You need the material, you need infrastructure to create this thing. Encryption is not like that. It's really cheap and simple thing. You read a textbook, you buy a computer with some old, big whatever. You can code up a very good encryption scheme, as strong as it gets. Right? You read the right textbook, you can do it. So it's not going to be something you can prevent people from using. Anybody can build it. So now you might say it's illegal. If I see you using it, I'll come and catch you. That should be a deterrent. Well, if you try to do that, you'll just make it the next level where you can actually do things, encrypt messages or put encrypted messages into clear text in a way that somebody who looks at it finds it as clear text. Okay, so you can embed your messages, so it's called steganography, Not as popular as encryption, but because of you issue, why do you need to do it? Just encrypt that, there is encrypting stuff. But if you need to, if you are pushed that you want to see that you're encrypted, then you can just use this technology. Not as efficient, issues with technology, not as standardized. It's not, it's also for increase. So we can bring it back. So you cannot really hope to, so somebody talks about it's a genie out of the bottle. You cannot really put it back in. Science has discovered, or mathematics has discovered that something is possible. And now that we all know what is possible, everybody's doing this. At least certainly people who have the resources, who are the criminals, who are your enemy state, they can do it, no matter how much we try to prevent that or by legislation. On the other side of that, if you do let people use strong cryptography everywhere, you get a lot of benefits from it. You need it for commerce, right? E-commerce. You send your credit card information over the internet. Why? Because you have confidence that nobody is going to give it to stop and find out your credit card. If you believe that it's strong enough. If there were restrictions, if they're not strong enough, some foreign state, US or China or Russia or whoever has the capabilities, can read all your private data that as an Indian citizens you are exchanging with each other or with your companies. So you have an Indian company and people are buying things from them on the internet. Well, maybe some foreign country would just be able to steal all the information that's being transmitted to them using weak encryption. And that hurt the Indian commerce, right? The Indian business work. So there is a good reason, even if you didn't care about human rights, if you just wanted to have good business environment or whatever, you would still need it. Of course, you'd also want good journalism, good debate, public safety. All these things benefit from having good encryption. As do the criminals, but that you cannot do much about. So, kind of the takeaway from this slide that I have is the following. If you try to regulate cryptography, ban it, or weaken it by building backdoors, you end up getting a worse report. The best report was, you remember the worst report was. On the one hand, the criminals will still be able to use them. Most criminals, and some less sophisticated criminals will not be able to. But the more determined and resourceful ones will get away as strong an encryption as they always used to do. And the poor businesses and legal and law-abiding citizens will not be able to. So you neither get the benefits of strong cryptography nor protect yourself from the flip side of it. So this will be another brain dead thing to do, to try and regulate it. I want to give one more perspective. This is a little technical. It may not make sense if you, let's see if I can make sense. Make this meaningful for you. So you could ask, wait, so this idea of banning was probably not good. Why not just have backdoors? Let the government break in. That's kind of what the FBI wants us. Well, there is one obvious elephant in the room, which is if you don't have backdoors, the keys for these backdoors. So knowledge about these backdoors is with the government, and they trust them. Okay, so some people may be okay with that, some people may not be. So that's one issue, but that's not what I want. There's another big issue, or another more conceptual issue. What does it mean for a scheme to be secure, say an encryption scheme? Well, you might say, even from the informal way I've been discussing it so far, it's okay, a scheme is secure, nobody has to get out of break. That sounds good enough. Right? Nobody has found out a way to break it efficiently. You can say, I found a way to break it by brute force, but it'll take the lifetime of the universe. Then that's not our attack. But if you found a way to break it efficiently in a year, or something, then yeah, that is probably an attack. So to be secure means not being. But actually, a cryptographer, that is not the definition of security. The technical definition of the encryption scheme, say, being secure, is that there doesn't exist an algorithm for breaking it. And this might be kind of surprising because you think of anything I can build, somebody clever should be able to break. And that used to be the idea of cryptography in the 7th, 8th, 19th century, or even 20th century. But that's not true anymore. We know there are mathematical problems, computational problems, which simply need so many steps to complete. So it doesn't exist to pass the average. We know that for a fact. And hopefully, I can build an encryption scheme where doing the encryption is something fast and everything I can do, but breaking it without the key would end up being one of these problems, which simply doesn't have a fast algorithm. Okay. That is the technical definition of security. I will, before say why I make this distinction, I put in a caveat because I work in these kind of questions, so I should be honest about it. This definition we don't know how to achieve yet. The mathematics, state of the art of mathematics today doesn't let us prove these things. But that I think is a problem with our mathematics technology so far. In a few decades that might change. We hope it will change. There are these related problems feature in the, for instance, there's a clay mathematics open problems list. Each one is thought $1 million, and there are problems related to this in there. So we will need to, when I claim, oh, my scheme is secure in this definition, that will be based on some untruth mathematical assumptions. I try to bring these mathematical assumptions as, make them as small and believable as possible, but yeah, till I figure this out, I don't have a proof. Okay, so that's a caveat, but for the purpose of this talk, you can ignore this as a problem for mathematicians. From a technology perspective, this is what it does. Right? These are problems where we believe, we will continue to prove, that they don't have an efficient attack against. Now, if the government says, let's not use a scheme like that, let's use a backdoor scheme. So what is a backdoor scheme? It's, if you were to use the analogy of entering a fort, so there's a front door with a key there, and so the government doesn't have a key. There's a back door which doesn't have a door, it's an open thing. That wouldn't satisfy our definition of being secure, right? Because there exists an algorithm to get into there. You may not have found it yet, but if there is a back door, there is a way to get in there. When you use such an algorithm, you're doing is that you are using something which is insecure. It does have a back door, it's a matter of time until somebody finds it. If you're lucky, maybe it will take a long time before somebody finds it, but there's a big risk to take. It's not how security should be done. You want to be in this world and build a fort, it shouldn't have that. Okay? Instead of hoping that there's a back door, only I know about it so far, hopefully nobody else will find out. It's just my points about trying to regulate is bad, the back door is bad. You just have to live with some technology, right? The genie is out of the bottle, encryption obligation of that state. Just have to, again, here also, you can put in all these backdoors, that will be the standard. This will affect only law where you're using these standards. Your hardened criminals wouldn't be using this backdoor, they will be using properly secure. Okay, so let me find my last part. How much time do I have? Okay.
About 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. I'll wrap up. So, just gazing into the crystal ball, like what future holds. I do want to tell you something interesting here. But let me start with the obvious. Yeah, we have problems, we need to fix them. I'm not talking about the policy side of things right now. It's technical problems, but we know there are gaping holes here. How to fix it? Well, people are working on it. There is much research on making the design and implementation make the implementation meet the design specs. So software verification technologies for making sure there are not bugs, right? So you catch bugs. Out here, it's a much more complicated world. Personally, I would think you need a complete overhaul of the current ecosystem of how operating systems work. They were all built for efficiency. They were all built for speed. They know in environment where you're not worried about applications attacking each other. We just wanted to get the most efficiency out of the group or parallel processes, whatever. So these ecosystems are designed for a more benign setting. Something needs to be complete, really needs to be done. I don't know what, probably nobody else knows what at this point. And there's not as much work here because it's tied up with so many moving parts. Humans are in the loop, operating system, hardware devices. The industry is not interested in overhauling anything. They will keep doing human things. So that's obvious future directions to go into. But let me tell you something maybe you've not heard of. And this is closer to the kind of work a lot of people like me and others do. We work in the Let me set up with this story. So suppose Alice is a government agency. She has a no-fly list, so people in this list shouldn't be allowed to purchase air tickets. And Bob is an airline, and so the customer has come to purchase a ticket from Bob. Bob is supposed to confirm that this customer's name doesn't appear in the no-fly list before selling the ticket. Okay, so the natural question you could ask is, should Alice send that list to Bob? Bob is just a random airline, Alice is government agency. Maybe a bad idea, like sensitive information. Should Bob be allowed to know that? Okay, maybe Bob should just send the customer's name to Alice. And Alice can check if it is in the list and tell Bob if it's in the list. Well, that affects the privacy for all these customers, not just the customers not in the group. That seems for anyone who works. And you could ask policy debate about what is a better work thing to do here, right? But here's the twist. If you know enough crypto, you don't need to do either. You can magically have Alice and Bob talk to each other about a protocol. And at the end of it, Alice learns nothing other than the fact that Bob engaged in this protocol. So Bob had it right. And Bob learns nothing other than yes or no answer. That whether this name is in the list or not. He doesn't know anything about the other people in the list or anything in the list. This is not there. It's kind of impossible to think of it that's possible. But actually, it's almost the same kind of impossible thing that what key cryptography is. It may not be part of it as an impossible thing. There's a certain sense it's impossible, and in that kind of sense, there's also impossible. And when you see it for the first time, it's not possible. But trust me, it's possible. And there's a whole area of secure multi-point computation, which is about this. It's an area, it's not like something that came out yesterday. It's been there since the 80s. You want shortly after public encryption was discovered. But it's only in the last decade or so that people are actually, maybe the cryptographers invented it, inadvertently keeping a good secret. But it's only in the last few years that it has come out. And just to really highlight this, there's a proposed bill pending in the US right now. To use this kind of technology for building some databases where something about higher education, universities, students should be able to query without really what they're querying, so forth. But some particular application, the important thing is it has reached the knowledge, it has gained enough visibility to be in a bill. I don't know if it pass or not. Not good. And there's more where this comes from. It's not just, you do very interesting things. You respect an auction. Auctions are such a tricky thing, right? Does somebody know what company is bidding, or you trust bidding? And we can actually use the converted verification tools. The more something like electronic voting. There's a certain idea of what a secure voting scheme is. We are used to VVPAT. There are other ways to do it. There are other possibilities. So that's all I wanted to say here. And just to refresh your memory, we talked about, taking away from the whole thing, talked about this different layers of your application and where vulnerabilities lurk. The flip side of privacy is all good to get privacy, but they also have crime. But the response would be, I guess, just live with it and fight crime in the good old way outside. Just hope that somehow criminals won't be reduced to privacy. That is not an option. And the last thing I mentioned was, so first of all, there's fix this stuff, the gaps, and the most, say, exciting thing for researchers is that we're sitting on this tool which has got an information for privacy commerce, right? So competing industries, competing corporations should work with each other without revealing their proprietary secrets. So there's not a lot about it. Alright, so that's all I want to do.
Okay, this may seem like a press meeting because I'm holding this one. But this is a public interaction, so the kind of questions they've got, we have written them a bit to again make them a bit academic. And I know people are not used to that. That said, every question we have got from a person, we will reflect it. Also, Manoj has an 11 p.m. flight, so we'll be wrapping up in 10 minutes flat at 8:30 p.m. This is to account for traffic. So, just starting out, Manoj, I'd just like to ask you, with the advance in computational power, for instance, in quantum computing, do you see challenges to cryptography just in terms of brute force?
Theoretically, yes, but practically not anytime soon. So the nuance about quantum computing is that the technology, the hardware technology that's there. So we are recently heard quantum supremacy claims by Google. They can do something which conventional computing couldn't do. But those are for very small problems. Those kind of problems are not breaking possibility for the RSA or anything. They're at a much smaller scale. On the other hand, principle, once you build sufficiently large quantum computers, you will be able to break certain encryption schemes very efficiently. Now, I'm sure you didn't notice, but if you look at the first slide where I put in mathematics of cryptography, there are two examples. The first one was something that quantum computer could in principle break, if you build a sufficiently large one. The second one is a candidate for a problem for which quantum computers don't break that. So quantum computers don't solve every problem. So what I mentioned about some problems being computationally hard continues to hold even for quantum computers. It's just that there are certain problems which used to be hard would become easier, but cryptography can be based on problems that remain hard, which we believe will be hard. Now this currently as a proof that when I say it will remain hard, it's hard, that way I can aim for mathematical problems to be solved.
Can I take this a bit further? Because I'm really illiterate when it comes to this. So recently I read about how even in AI, the conventional model, which was in terms of forming logic paths by just feeding in raw amounts of data and then doing error correction, is now changing into much more neural and creative deployments of AI designed by itself, which was visited in terms of a very practical example in China where the Go game was actually, the competitor was defeated in that, and their claims of creativity in AI. So can AI also be one added layer of vulnerability for cryptography?
So AI is not really a threat to the forensics. What AI solves are easy problems. They're of course not easy in the sense that something we already know how to solve. They are easy in the sense that they're not computationally complex problems. It's more so those of you who know the terminology, there are entry to these problems. Something. Let's say there's a class of problems that not really hard for conventional computing. They remain hard for quantum computing. So for quantum computing and for AI. AI is just conventional compute at the end of the day. It can only solve things which does not exist in algorithm. AI is just another algorithm. So if there's no algorithm, AI cannot solve it. So AI is not per se an attack. Now, AI can help. There are problems for which there are algorithms. AI can help with discovery. AI can help with cryptanalysis. So the engineered problems that I mentioned are not based on mathematical problems that we have, but are some complex engineering problems. People attack the reason that AI and AI can help those attacks. But that's not a major concern.
And I think you published some co-author. There's a book you were mentioning also, but only for graduate students. Right?
Yeah. So
no, he's modest. So you're saying don't mention it because it'll seem advertorial, but
secure multi-party computation is an important area in cryptography, and somebody
just to give them a bit of taste about it as well. I think we discussed earlier in office how it can be used in voting systems. Can you talk a little about Manoj? Or there have been pilots around it, right?
Okay, so yeah, modern cryptography has many things. Secure multi-party computation is an overarching framework in which many things would fit. One of those things would be electronic voting, if you mentioned it as you can think of electronic voting currently. How do you verify that your vote is being counted? So there are two parts there, right? You cast a vote, is it being collected as a cast and has it been counted as a How do you verify that it's being counted as collected? Currently, it's just you're hoping that the machine will give you a vote. Right? But there are other things to ensure. You can have a publicly verifiable mechanism for doing it. So when you vote, a list is generated with all the votes in some sort of encrypted form, not very encrypted, in encoded form. And later, that vote can be carried using a secure multi-party computation protocol. So the output of the vote is just a tally of the original unencoded votes. And you can, but nobody link a particular unencoded vote to the count. Party A got X vote, party B got Y votes. You don't know which vote went to party X, which vote went to party Y. That will prove, or the counters will be able to prove, even though there's no which one to which one, they'll be able to prove that all the votes were counted correctly. These many votes translate to X votes for the party A and Y votes for the party B. It's kind of another unthinkable thing, right? How do you prove something without really revealing any information? So eventually this keyword is a notion of zero knowledge base. So another notion that fits in secure multi-party. I can convince you of things without telling you why they're true. I can convince you that it's true. Right? So if I just came and told you it's true, you don't trust me. Then you run this protocol, then you say, okay, I believe you now, but I have no idea any better than we started why this. That's a zero knowledge proof. That's very useful. You can use it to prove, first like use the tagging, these encrypted votes are decrypted, counted as what you come up with. You don't trust me, I'll run this proof, then you're convinced. You have no idea any better than before this. You don't know which vote you're right. So there are these kind of very useful tools, all kinds of things that cryptography are possible, but not always very efficient in various interrogation issues. I think policy should start with being aware of these things.
And these pilots have been tried?
So the electronic voting, yes, there are companies that have been companies in the last 5 years. Or also in many of the, there have been instances where people have used these things. Right?
This is the final question I'll just ask. Like, what makes you passionate about your own area of work and how you look at technology much more broadly? This is not some. It's just because I think there's a very small community even today which works on these issues, and it's not reflective of the crowd here, the number of people attending, but I think it's much smaller in fact.
Yeah. So theoretical cryptography. Okay. So when you said
What makes you feel passionate?
So my area is even smaller fraction of the community of cryptography. Because cryptography has a very practical side, very implementation is community there. What I work on is the theoretical side of cryptography. So for me, equally the passion is about doing something that's useful, but as much as just the mathematical concept, right? Now, isn't it cool that you could prove something to someone and they would know why it's true? So that's the kind of thing that will drive a lot of the passion. The theoretical research. But then it's not just some arbitrary theoretical question you put out. Once you realize you can do it, you can use it in very useful ways. I do work also in trying to translate some of these theoretical practices. The book that I was mentioning about is just a collection of research articles on secure multi-party computation and correlated. And the best place to start from secure multi-party computation. But there are resources now that in commercially companies are deploying secure multi-party computation for options. They do try to put out information massively. Another thing that has happened is, like it or not, Bitcoin, blockchain, right? It's probably a too hyped up a thing, but.
Just to interrupt you, we didn't put cryptography because it would be crypto, and then our Twitter would be basically just like Bitcoin.
Yeah. So, the cryptography community is being claimed that the rest of the world that the word crypto now refers to cryptocurrencies. No, it should proper cryptography.
This is off the record, guys. Easy to
but more seriously, what was the question before that?
You were talking about applied cryptography, how it's applying, and how what's a good place to start from multi-party.
Yeah, so because of blockchains, right, and they use zero-knowledge proofs. Proof use something like there was so much money in this wallet and that has gotten this block, and that has been half of that has been transferred to the other one without telling what the amount is. So without actually decrypting anything, and so have proof there that we can verify that you didn't pay money out of nothing here. Whatever vending is what you want, you can use a large proof. So now it's a very practical consideration because there's a lot of money involved. People are asking what needs to be considered very carefully option, but maybe it's less notion also.
Well, thank you everyone. This conversation has been a little about how I read this chapter in EFF special volume by next week, which is titled as Edward Snowden talks to his lawyer, and the lawyer is not named for good reason because he's an idiot. Okay, and I feel like that one today. This has been a masterclass, Manoj. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your public engagement. We will keep encouraging people from the core sciences to engage much more with important social questions. And I hope this, which you've told me is your first public lecture, this is one of the first of many more. Thank you so much for coming on this Saturday. I'm really, really thankful to all of you who spent this time and not binged on the Netflix special.
I would also like to thank you for coming and sitting through as things I've said made sense. I hope they made some sense. But yeah, I would be surprised if I was just spouting around for these people. But yeah, hopefully this is not the last lecture on cryptography and the underlying science that we will come across. Maybe next time, see something.
Please join us for 3 hours. Thank you so much.